stock that is about to break out. It is a AI data center company. They recently were a crypto miner. They're one of two crypto miners that are mentioned in the same conversation. Their sister company, Riot, already took off, and Mara is still sort of going sideways, and it seems that's because they issued a bunch of convertible debt, so that spooks people that they're diluting their shareholders, and also they might not be as far along in the conversion from being a miner to a AI LLM GPU infra factory. So let's jump in to see how much of that is easily describable from the layman, which we are, and then see what the spots are to get it. If you like this stuff, hit that like button.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
All right, so here is the chart, and if we zoom out, we can see that this is starting to get interesting. A little bit of a higher low here. We've gone sideways for a while. 2022 crash was brutal for Mara, like every other AI software, pretty much every company in 2022. They had a euphoric move a while ago, and then just in the last 5 years, they've essentially back at where they started. So it is what it is. I mean, there are companies that have done even more crazy sort of whipsaw action, but all we're trying to figure out is Mara going to pull a Riot and start to move up? So that's the question. Why are they decoupled? If Mara is still going sideways and Riot is already up here, what's the difference? And is Mara likely to be able to double? So we'll jump into price levels going back to middle of 2024. But before we do that, let's jump into a little bit about what this company does. So they're a Bitcoin miner. Iron is another peer, looks like this, and is absolutely skyrocketed at 4x there. And this is what Mara looks like. Of course, if you are a PE ratio person, you could say, well, they're a better PE ratio, they're a better buy. It's like, fine, but at this point, we're not really that focused on PE ratios in terms of valuing companies. If Palantir is any, example of that. And also, this is a little bit worrisome, this debt. So this is Mara. They're going for long-term growth by holding Bitcoin. Okay, but that was sort of the old story. And yeah, they were the second largest corporate holder of Bitcoin, but they also mined less Bitcoin than they had been expected to or had been previously. So that was a little bit of a red flag, you could say. Riot, on the other hand, I don't know exactly why it went out that much, to be honest, but I think it's just the absence of the factors that Mara has, which is mining less Bitcoin, having that major debt obligation. Those things combined, I think, are enough to say this is not the company to lead the charge. But that gives us an opportunity here, and we don't have to be right. I mean, there could be underlying problems with Mara that have not surfaced, but all we have to say is it okay to buy this at $18 or so, risk 20-30 cents, and make $20-30? I mean, that's not insane to say, given that Riot offered similar opportunity somewhere back in here with some tight days where you really could risk 20-30 cents, and then it's coming up on $10, and this is only since this month. So that's sort of the idea. And if you get a little 10% move, you can sell half. 10% is actually just here, just a few dollars, but if you hold half for that full move, it starts to add up. So levels somewhere around $17 is relevant, going back to these, and then this pivot line here, a little higher low here, and then to really zero in, just risking yesterday's low or risking this little prior pre-earnings run up, bounce is safer, where you risk 50 cents or something. But whatever you risk, whether it's one of these day highs, you just want to hold that and then give yourself some room to breathe. Because if you just buy it and just hope that it goes up initially, well, you can see even today it had a wick down below open. So you do have to have some type of risk. Now, that's enough charting. Let's talk a little bit about making sure Mara is worth buying. Might not be the best company in the stock market. It's not NVIDIA, but people are worried about NVIDIA being at all-time highs. So you do look for these sort of bottom bouncer plays. Bitcoin doesn't look great. That's certainly a risk factor for these, but at the same time, as they pivot from Bitcoin mining to AI, they're not as closely tied to Bitcoin. I mean, Cipher went from 2.5 to 15. Meanwhile, Bitcoin, this is the Bitcoin ETF Fibit, just sort of went sideways during the last few months. So they're not really coupled anymore. And now the question becomes, is it going to matter that mining's more competitive and less profitable if they're raising all this debt and moving into AI data centers? So that's basically the play, high performance computing. And what I have to ask is, okay, is there any other information why it hasn't gone up yet? And this is a lot of money for a small, whatever it is, $15, $20 stock. So I can understand the concern there. The decline in Bitcoin production is also a concern. And getting this Coinbase name associated with your brand for Riot, 100 million credit facility, is not as much as the 850 million debt offering from Mara, but it's with Coinbase. So, I mean, if Riot has a major partnership with Coinbase, Riot could absolutely explode to the upside. Coinbase is also looking sort of interesting, and I'll speak to that, but this is a huge company, and it's the, premium Bitcoin company on the NASDAQ. So you can see Mara, you can see Riot, and I have to think that, I don't want to be looking at a 5-minute chart. It's insane. I have to think that Mara has a lot of space to run up, but I'm not going to get too crazy about the charts. Just going to focus really on this last question that's important. How easy is it, right, to switch from Bitcoin mining to AI cloud infrastructure? That's a straightforward enough question to ask. And I think the real problem is it may be easy, it may not be, but it's not going to be so much about this as much as when they actually get a big deal and they're already built out for Bitcoin mining, are they going to have to buy a bunch of GPUs? And maybe that's what the 850 million is for. Maybe they're going to be able to make a deal with NVIDIA. NVIDIA could invest in them. That would be actually very bullish for the stock. There's a lot of uncertainties here. But really all you can say about a startup, this is a startup company. I mean, we looked, the very first thing that was here is the revenue, which is less than $1 billion. And so well under the debt. And Riot is also under their debt as well. But they do hold Bitcoin, and the chart looks good. So moves a lot per day, 7% a day. It's not a penny stock, not a $1 stock, $5 stock. It's not as speculative as a Rich Tech Robotics, which has absolute insane moves and might get sort of cut off due to the Chinese connection, the regulatory scrutiny around RR having sales to China. I'm just giving an example of plays that are more speculative than Mara, because I think there's been some hesitancy about this company given the three factors there that we talked about. Just to harp on them again, is they haven't been mining as much Bitcoin. Bitcoin price hasn't been going anywhere. It's been going sideways. And then they had that huge debt offering. And then also, I guess the fourth thing is that it's not clear that you can necessarily convert from Bitcoin mining to being a, GPU workload workhorse for OpenAI, basically. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Anthropic, whoever's spending billions and billions of dollars. Meta, who just spent $14 billion on CoreWeave servers to do training and inference for AI question and answers like ChatGPT requires. So that's the game plan for Mara. Volume has come in. You see when volume comes in, there can be appreciation in price, but there can be selling. So respect your levels, be careful. And if you like these sort of ideas, head over to stockscommunity.com. Try it out for 7 days for $25. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit that and you'll be notified of future videos. See you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.